Welcome to the UDRCast. I'm your host, Bill Ward, coming to you live from the recovery capital of Canada, Calgary, Alberta, in my UDR podcast studio on 12th Ave and about 7th Street, downtown Calgary. Yeah, just had Recovery Day Alberta today, and a few weeks ago I was out at Recovery Day BC, and we kicked some ass out here in Calgary. And a guy that I met out in BC there probably 3 years ago, 3 years ago now.
Yep.
I did a prototype God Dope hat, and this guy fucking just wanted it, eh? And anyway, so we've connected a few times over the last few years, and just kind of feels like God brought him into my life to do something for us to connect. Scott, what's your last name?
Holshoff.
Scotty
H.
Scotty H.
That's what everybody knows me as. Yeah.
Thank you for coming, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, big time.
Making a run from, you're working out here, right?
I brought up a load. I own a moving company, so we did a drop in Leduc on Wednesday morning, and I hung out for a few days with some family, and I picked up a load in Penhold this morning, and I was like, "What the hell, man? I gotta come see you.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
dude. I'm stoked that you reached out and made it happen. It just feels good to have you here, and then some of the mutual connections that we've kind of had here, and like some of the God dope moments, eh?
Yeah, just slightly.
Fuck, bro. We won't get into all that right now, but it's just, there's no joke.
Yeah, and it's just like you tell this story to people, and people are like, "What?" They just don't understand, man. Like, they don't understand, like, the level of connection that's in everybody, all our hearts and our spirits and our souls. It's just, it's like you and I knew from the minute. It's just like that connection. And, like, we don't talk for a year, and then we see each other. It's like, bro, we touch our hearts together. And then this last experience, it's just been, like, wild.
Yeah, dude. And your wife, we met up in Kamloops.
Yeah. Yeah.
You weren't there, but your wife was, and my wife felt her God dope.
Yeah.
Or my ex-wife, right? Yeah, she mentioned, there's a lady here. She got a hat for her husband and blah blah blah, and she's like, she was amazing and all this shit. And I was like, fucking wonder if that was Scott, and then it was you. Yeah, it was wild, bro.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Good.
She is like,
Amazing. It's good. She's got to be amazing probably to be with you, eh?
Yeah.
Pretty intense, bro.
Yeah, she's like the opposite of me completely, bro. Like, I am like so intense and so like energetically emotional and like enthralled in everything, and she's like completely the opposite. She is like, we just got it. We were in Nanaimo, and we were walking down the streets in Nanaimo, and we walked by this like kind of like hippie style store, and there was this hoodie that says Zen as fuck, and I'm like, you've got to get that hoodie. That is like the literal epitome of what she is. She is not affected by nothing.
No way.
I need to
Zen
learn.
as fuck.
I need to learn from her is what I need to do.
Nice.
But yeah, she is like the embodiment of Zen.
Good.
Yeah.
Good woman.
She's amazing.
I just found a fucking amazing woman.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, hell yeah, you did. Yeah, that's crazy, that connection too.
Yeah, bro. I'm fucking grateful. Anyway, let's walk it back. I don't know how many times you'll be on the podcast or whatever, or where our friendship's going to go, but it's probably going to go somewhere, and I'm sure you'll be on here again. So I do believe that you're probably going to be on here more than once. So we'll do a little bit of a timeline and some history in your story, and like do more of a recovery style interview today, and then we'll just kind of see where it goes from here. But what I'd like to do is kind of walk back into your life, and like you're a hardcore drug addict, right? And you've been in the game for a long fucking time, and you've been sober now for 8 years.
8 years in November.
And how many years were you in the treachery of your addiction?
Like hardcore for 18 years.
Okay. Where'd you grow up?
Duncan.
Drunken.
Yeah.
Drunken.
I'll let you do the accent.
No. My relatives will not be fucking happy.
Get some comments in the next section.
You do the accent.
They'll really get hated on.
Yeah, dude. So Drunken Valley, eh?
Yeah, I born and raised Duncan. I mean, I spent a lot of time moving around, so I usually just tell people I grew up on Vancouver Island, Cowichan Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Went to school in Duncan.
Parents?
Mom, dad, briefly a couple times here and there throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
Disappeared when I was about 7. Mom was consistent. Grandma and grandpa were consistent, and lots of aunts and uncles.
Mm-hmm. Brothers, sisters?
No sister until I was no brothers and sisters till I was 13. In part of my story, I will reference somebody who I used to call my brother.
Mm-hmm.
He was like my best friend in the whole entire universe, and we met when we were 14. When I was 14 and he was 17,
Mm-hmm.
and he was my brother, like my brother.
Mm.
But biological sister, she's still on the island, Ladysmith, with 3 kids and married.
You get along?
She's completely the opposite of me.
Oh,
If there was anything good that I did in my life in all those years, I was an example of what she didn't want to do. That's for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I was the black sheep of the family for sure.
Roger. So what was it like growing up out there and as a kid? With a single mom?
So, it wasn't until after my mom passed away, and I'll kind of like fast forward to that just only for the sake of saying it, that it wasn't until after she passed away and years after that I learned about who she was as a mother and all the years that I resented her for the mother that she wasn't, and never appreciated her for the mother that she was. And I sadly had to learn that lesson after she died, talking to my grandfather about 6 months before he died. But, my mom she wasn't there. She wasn't there for me physically, but she was there for me in every other way possible. Like, I had an amazing childhood in a sense that, like, I had the craziest wicked experiences. My grandfather collected cans for every time he went walking, and I got sent to a summer camp every year from the time that I was like 6 or 7 to the time I was 15. Grandfather took me camping for 2 weeks in Rathtrevor every single summer from like age 4 to 18. I was baseball, basketball, had to choose at one point because my mom couldn't afford both. But like, she did everything she could to put me into things to keep me occupied and get me involved in things so I didn't have to be alone. But I was so alone.
And she just worked her ass
That's
off
all
and
she
spent
did.
every dime she could on trying to make your life better.
Yeah.
Sounds like my mom.
Yeah. She was a bartender and like a bar manager on the island for a group of business owners. So we moved around a lot, probably because we moved because I got in shit, but she was always working at different places, so it made it easier for us just to move to that area. But I wasn't a good kid at all. I got into a lot of trouble. I was in a different school every year until like grade 10. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, a lot of what I reference in my life of my experiences is what I've learned now. It's a beautiful thing to be able to look back and reflect on the things that I now know burdened me, right? And I know now that at that point in time, like, any attention was better than no attention. I didn't have a dad, in which a lot of these things I used as excuses, right? To perpetuate my internal suffering and my surrounding suffering as an excuse as why I did what I did and why I am the way that I am.
And it makes it hard to build relationships and friendships when you're bouncing, right? And like, one thing I've learned is people that have moved around a lot in their lives, a lot of them are addicts, right? That's one thing I've seen, like people that are like connected to like, the Air Force or the Army, Canadian Army, and their parents move around a lot. Like, they never get to build like friendships and relationships, or people that just bounced around a lot because their family was fucked up or whatever, right? A lot of these people have a hard time like not being addicts. And you're kind of saying the same thing in a sense. When did you start using? Was your mom, a user?
Alcoholic.
Yeah?
Functional alcoholic. Occupational hazard.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So she, for the better portion of my younger childhood, she was she worked at a nightclub. And then always bars. I mean, I lived at a bar for 3 years of my life, lived above a bar and beside a bar. Actually, what's funny is, like, despite me being in a bar, I actually never started really drinking until after high school. I experimented here and there, but I didn't even really touch drugs or anything until, like, I was long graduated and done high school. I was always the one that was really, like, my dream in life was to be a professional athlete. I wanted to be, as growing up, I wanted to be an MLB baseball star. And then I started playing basketball and got really, really good at basketball. And I wanted to go to college, Div 1 college basketball. I wanted to play in the NBA.
So your mom's effort to keep you in sports was paying off.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And it wasn't really until I because I wasn't really popular. And I mean, I was and I wasn't. The irony of that is the fact that, I was really, really good at sports, but nobody liked me because I was better than them. In a sense, like, as weird as that is, right? Like, I showed up to all these small towns and I was like the outcast, but I was always like one of the better ball players, or something like that. So I felt like the jealousness, kind of like the animosity from other players, right? I got bullied big time, like tormented and tortured in like pretty much like grade 6 to like grade 10. And even part of grade 10, funny story, I ran into one of my childhood bullies in Nanaimo in one of the stores with my wife. And I was telling her the story about how I ran into him at a meeting about 4 years ago, and he made amends to me. And he was like, "I've been praying about you." And I was like,
No way.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was, again, God shots, right? Like, I was at a random meeting in Ladysmith, and I walk up to the door, and there he is. And I'm no longer looking up at him. I'm looking him straight in the eyes. And this guy was a monster going up to me, right? And he was like, "No way." He's like, "I've been praying about you. I've been working through my steps with my sponsor." And he made amends to me right then and there. And I've seen him a few times over the last few years. But anyways, back to like childhood, like just really tormented. Right, I lived most of my youth life. I mean, like I said, I had a great life in the sense of like being out there in the world and experiencing things. But in my inner world, in my friends group, I didn't really have a lot of friends, like you said, and it's so true. Like, I moved around a lot, so making and establishing healthy, positive, trusting relationships with people was really difficult. Although I am fucking amazing with people. Like, that's the one character gift that has been long lasting, that has taken me so many places in my life, including my businesses all rely on the people skills that I've been gifted because of how much of a chameleon and how much pressure I've had in order to fit in every single place I've gone, right? Yeah.
That's wild.
So
So you weren't using drugs through high school?
Not at all. Didn't smoke cigarettes, didn't smoke weed, didn't drink. I mean, my cousin and I drank, I can remember this day, in Hope. The first beer, I was like maybe 13. We split one of those Bubba Keg Budweisers, and I had like 3 or 4 sips, and that was it. My mom bought me, there was that like, not Colt 45, but like Triple X Molson.
Oh yeah.
When I was like 16. It was like 9.6 or something like that, and I got super drunk.
Yeah. Blackout.
Yeah, blacked out drunk. 16. My mom was like, "If you're gonna drink, you can drink. You can drink here with your friends." So me, my friend Jesse, and Devin all got drinks, and we just listened to AC/DC and Metallica all night, and the Z95.3, and got drunk, and passed out. Had a crazy hangover in the morning, and didn't touch it again until grad.
I think Triple X was designed to make people alcoholic. I swear,
gross.
Fucking, if you're drinking that, you will be an alcoholic because it's gross.
maximum power.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, like I, so like, there's, I mean, that's maybe that's not completely truthful or accurate either. I mean, there's bits and pieces of places that I definitely experimented, but it was like few and far between. Like I had ambition and drive to do great things with my life. Did I have an idea of how I was going to do it? No. But what I did know is I didn't want to be the fall down that I saw in the people that were around me growing up, which is weird. There was a weird twisted irony to that I ended up like that. But
so where did it start going off the rails? You're a good student. You're a good kid. You're straight and narrow. You moderate drinker. By the sounds of it, you can take it or leave it alone. But at some point, you know, it started shifting. And like, I know there's a lot of details in this, right? But for now, we won't go into all the details of like how we get there because we're going to save some of that for later. But where did it start going off the rails?
When I graduated, so I referenced this guy named Kevin. He's my brother. Okay. I reference him because he was a huge impact in my life. Though I like obsessively loved this man and became like enthralled in a relationship with him where I was just obsessed and just idolized and worshipped him. He was the coolest of cool fucking people. Like he was, you know, he was a fucking yo. Like my sister's gonna watch this back and she's gonna, I love that. But like that was, he was just, when he walked in a room, he lit the room up, right? And I was just so mesmerized by what he was. I wanted to be him. So he got involved in things. Like after high school, I moved to Ladysmith for about 6 months. He was already down in Victoria selling weed and mushrooms. And so he started getting me involved in that because I was visiting him and I was seeing what he had. Right. And I didn't grow up with much, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have much at all. Like, and I saw what he had. And this is where like the ego, the epitome of the ego really kicked in. Like I became infatuated with an identity and like an image that I got obsessed with. And I fell in love and romanticized the gangster lifestyle. And I mean, as I was growing up, I kind of already had that in me, you know, like I started.
What was it about the gangster lifestyle that was appealing to you? Was it like the power and control and respect? Was it the violence? Was it the money and the women and
all of it? I was, you know, like I felt like I was a nothing. I was so embarrassed. My mom was a barmaid. You know what I mean? I used to tell people my dad was a mob guy. I like tell people all types of stories of like pathological liar growing up and told lies to everybody for a means of acknowledgement and recognition. Like whatever I could get out of somebody to recognize me as being more than what I felt I was.
Even while you were in high school?
Even when I was in high school. And that was because I was a nothing and a nobody. Like, and bullied big time. So I was meaningless to most people in the world. And I felt like that because I wasn't like, even like through the eyes of like my mom, what I saw, like she was never there, like never around. Nobody was around. I was always being tossed around to, you know, my grandmother, my grandfather, this aunt, this uncle, which were just my mom's friends, right? Boyfriends come and go. You know, I was like on my own in the world.
But you were good at sports.
Really good at sports.
So you were good at sports. You were bullied. Was part of your drive to be good at sports? Was it for the validation? And through that whole period of your life, you were still a bullshitter?
100%.
Fuck, you had some multiple personality shit going on.
Big time.
Eh?
Big time. Yeah, big time. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I had to work through in my first few years of recovery. And a lot of that was the mental health aspect of things that I had adapted and adopted over the years in order to really survive in the world. you know? And then fast forward to prison and all those things. Like everything I ever was a projection in an effort to protect myself and to get whatever it was that I needed in that moment of where I was to get it. You know, I was...
So a lot of when I talk about like addiction, a lot of times I'll say like this disease is a disease of validation, right? And like you're talking the epitome of the need for validation through the stories and the sports and whatever else, right? And your mom, she was never around, so you weren't getting that like parental validity that you needed. And yeah, you're just, even though you were straight and narrow, you still weren't authentic.
I wasn't seen. That's what's coming to me right now.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
Right? And I would say and do whatever I could to be seen.
So the gangster lifestyle started forcing people to notice you. And violence makes people notice. And like that kind of false power feels fucking powerful. Eh?
100%. I loved it. And I started fighting. Started in underground boxing clubs on the island. Like, you know, tough guy competitions and stuff like that. My brother was a Muay Thai kickboxer and early on days of jiu-jitsu, which was like like wrestling and like before MMA was MMA, right? And he taught me how to fight, and it was learning how to fight was more about like finally being able to protect myself and really stand up for myself, because I was always just a bitch, to be honest with you. I was. I got beat up and pushed around and thrown around, and never once did I ever stand up for myself. I remember the first time I ever stood up for myself, the guy who bullied me in high school, he went to kick me coming down the stairs one day, and I don't know where it came from, but I grabbed his boot. He used to wear these fucking knee-high Doc Martens, and I just seen it, and my heart just froze because I had my head down, and I was walking up the stairs, and I just seen his boots and his chains because he wore those, like, you know, he was a skater, and he just went to go throw a kick at me, and I just blocked his kick and threw him and pushed him against the wall, and he looked at me, and I don't know if he ever even really touched me after that. Like I generally think it was like the beginning of grade 11 or halfway through grade 11. Yeah. And that's when it really started changing. Grade 12 was literally the best year of my entire school life. Minus like the younger years, but like grade 12, I don't know, something changed between 11 and 12, and I started becoming a little more popular and a little bit more respected. And I think if I'm ever pointing to a TSN turning point of when it really began, that was when it was. And that was
for
when
you inside.
For sure. And you can see too, I got these school pictures, and like from like grade 9 to grade 10 to grade 11, you go from like mullet and a fucking like a white collared shirt over the sweater to like cross colors and a fade, and like I was wearing this like Jamaican necklace. And like all of a sudden, just the look on my face was just like 10 times different. My grade 11 picture, school picture, and you can tell, right? Like you can see the change in me, and my whole attitude and everything changed from that point. Struggled having that relationship with mom entering 11 and 12. Ended up taking off, and because I was a somebody. Yeah. Right.
So you just reminded me of a couple stories. Both of them were when I was in junior high school, and like I'm brown, right? I'm indigenous, and I grew up like being bullied for being brown, and but I did learn how to stand up for myself, and I never wanted to ever fight. But in junior high school, there's this one guy. His name was John, and he always fucking bugged everybody. But then he bugged me too much one day, and I just fucking snapped, and I fucking just started beating the shit out of this guy. And he was in grade 9, I was in grade 8. And then he just like, he stopped and shut the fuck up and never did it again. I was like, yeah, man. And then also, I think this was in grade 9, this guy moved up from California, and he was the coolest kid in town, and everyone loved him. And he was really a goof. And and he bullied me around. And I remember this one day, he kicked me in the nuts in drama class. And I didn't even do anything. Like, I didn't try to fight him, or I just left it, right? And so that was his cue to keep doing it. And later on that day, and we were walking down the hall, and he was like pushing me from the back, and there was a bunch of guys there kind of watching him bully me. And I had a skateboard, and I fucking turned around, two-handed him right in the fucking back with the skateboard and jumped on, start beating the living shit out of him right in the fucking hallway. And my favorite teacher came running out of the class and broke it up. And we ended up getting the strap together that night. Then we actually hung out and we became kind of friends. But like that adrenaline rush and that like respect that you get, and it's false respect, right? In retrospect, it's all false respect. But breeding the like ego to like get what it needs to think that it's fucking okay, right? And that went the rest of my life. I didn't stop fighting till I was fucking like in my 30s, right? But I can kind of relate to some of that, bro. And the violence helps you pick up chicks. Like it just works in so many different ways, right? But it actually turns on you, right?
It's all fake.
It's all fake.
All of it. It's so fake and so false, and it's just everything that is a representation of everything that I tried to be was just, it was all fake and false,
right.
and like so like fragmented and shallow.
Yeah, dude.
Like there was no depth to it whatsoever. Like nothing. Like I say, what I often call people are, I like, you're a fucking Christmas ornament. You're all like shiny and sparkly on the outside, and you're fucking hollow on the inside. And that's what I was for most of my life. I was just a shiny Christmas ornament, sparkling through life, right? Like look at me. Don't look at me, but look at me.
Yeah.
Right? Like
don't look inside of me.
No.
But look at me.
No. And if you asked me, like I don't even think I said a truthful word out of my mouth for probably until like 2009, 2010 when I met my first fiance. Like, well, maybe that's not true. My daughter's mom, there was some realness to the beginning of that. There was me, and I think that there was this moment when I first met her that was like this desperate attempt to try to somewhat create an authentic connection with somebody, where I just got vulnerable and I just threw it out there about everything to kind of see whether or not she wanted to kind of proceed. I felt like, what the hell? Like,
what do you got to lose?
Like literally nothing. Right? Like I'm already a piece of shit, just fucking fresh out of prison. Yeah. So on parole, like literally, you know, like if I've got nothing, if this is what you're interested in seeing me for who I am, then, and that was like the first real connection I had outside of anything previous, with the exception of Kevin. Like Kevin was the first human being, man.
So was Kevin authentic? Because you started seeing this guy, you know, and being like, fuck, that's what I want, this guy. And like, was he authentic?
No.
But he...
There were, don't get me wrong, there were behind the scenes vulnerability of authenticity,
Okay.
where it was just him and I and nothing else, nobody else, where it was just me, him, and...
Where it was real?
Yeah.
But then he had to play the game too?
Of course. You have to play the game. It's like when you're in jail, like the insanity of the jailhouse mentality is you have to, what you have to do in order to survive is not what you have to do to get out and change.
Yeah.
You have to be this fucking monster of a person. I can't even say it's a person. You just got to be a monster. Yeah. Completely absent of any kind of emotion and it's all violence and projection and manipulation and image and, like, you know, bravado. You know, there were some moments, like there were some periods of time where you could let your guard down, like it wasn't as rough and you had a good crew around you, or it wasn't like I'm not constantly like we're not in the States, right? It's a lot different up here. It's still heavy duty shit, but it's not like being in the U.S. where you're like, even the people you think that are your people aren't your people, right? They'll throw you to the wolves in a heartbeat.
So is Kevin in the gang lifestyle, or did?
Yeah.
So tell me how that all progressed through the gang and the connecting there, and like that's when it started burning down. Did it escalate quickly, and like what all happened?
Yeah, I mean, It escalated quickly for me because of my addiction. Like once I consumed the very first time I ever did cocaine, it was like it took me and like ravaged me and wrapped me up in a little ball and just drugged me through, and I couldn't stop. And that was the thing about even just the lifestyle in itself, right? It was all this nice little package, this nice little bundled up in a bow package of everything that I'd ever been looking for, all in one little place. You know, he was, yeah. I mean, he was connected. He was connected, obviously, with different organizations and different crews and things like that, and being a person that he was, and as personable as he was, and charismatic and connected, because he'd been on the island for so long and been connected to so many different sources on his way up and down and through. He just managed to make the connections, and he was connected all the way up. And I wanted that. I wanted to be a part of that. Was I ever a part of that? Fuck no. Nobody was ever going to touch me with a 10-foot pole because of what I was doing, right? Like I ended up getting arrested for aggravated assault and attempted murder on a cab driver because I was fucking going psychotic in the back of a cab and tried to rob this guy for coke money. You know, nobody was going to touch me, and that's the way it was for, if I'm being honest, it was like that for the better portion of my addiction in and out of jail. You know, I got tied up in a bunch of stuff and got ended up with 7 years and ended up with 5 after an appeal, my first federal sentence, for a whole bunch of stuff. But all of it, like every single fiber of it was a result of the chaos of my addiction.
And when you say no one was going to touch you with a 10-foot pole, like anyone that had substance or connection with like moving you up the ladder in this lifestyle was not going to touch you based on you doing stupid shit like robbing a cab driver or whatever it was. And really that's your symptom of like, I want to be part of this so fucking bad, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And you don't get the validation even out of that because of how ridiculous what you did was. Right? Which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
And you're just grasping and trying to like claw your way into some acceptance in this underworld life, and it's not working. And all of the way along, you're just dishonoring your own consciousness, your own self the whole way. And of course, you need fucking drugs and alcohol.
I love how you said that. Because that's...
You know what the definition of shame is? Dishonoring one's own consciousness. So every time you go against God in you, which you did your whole fucking life, you create a layer of shame. And so the more and the deeper you go against yourself by dishonoring like the true nature of yourself, which is love and kindness and all those things, you just make yourself more sick. But the thing is that we look around the world and we are influenced by what we see and like what it looks like to be happy and what it looks like to like have what it is that we think we want, and we'll go get it at any cost, thinking that this is the way to go, but it's actually the exact wrong way to go. But we don't know until probably a near-death experience, really, or we're looking at life or whatever the fuck. And even that sometimes for some people doesn't even do the trick, right? But for you, how did you wake the fuck up? How did you start waking the fuck up? And like I said, we'll go back through your story at another time because there's lots there, which I want to hear.
There's a lot.
But
can I just say one?
Yeah, dude, say whatever.
Like I've been connected and like deeply spiritual and philosophical and for a lot of my life, empathic and psychokinetic, like really connected to human beings. It's always been my gift. And I'm going to say that never once have I ever heard somebody say that, what you just said, because I have said that. And that's been an understanding and an epiphany of realization for me in this last 8 years of exactly what you just said. I've never heard it so eloquently put, that the definition of shame is being in contrary to our true selves, basically, right? Paraphrasing, because that's what when I explain to people that, sure, I was molested as a kid and I was bullied and I could point to all of those things as reasons. But if I'm being absolutely honest, and which I've done a lot of work to understand what it was that perpetuated my out of control substance use and addiction and chaos of my life, was exactly what you just said, was doing all of this shit that I did, knowing deep down in my heart and soul and spirit and fiber of my DNA spirit that everything that I was doing was not what I was meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I did it, I just felt like even more of a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people in this room said it to me. Like, you shouldn't be here. This isn't you. This isn't who you are. How could you be so kind and have such a heart when you're doing all this other shit? Like I have heard that most of my life, from prison guards to people like on the streets in the throes of like absolute chaos of destruction and like gutter addiction. It's like, why are you here? You know, it's like, and then sometimes I think, like, now I'm thinking that even in those like dark, fucking dirty moments, God was still using me. Like, cause it was like, I don't know what I was doing. I was just trying to be a human being, and I didn't know what I was doing and why I was doing it at the time, because when you're that deep, it's just, you're on autopilot.
Yeah, it's fucking, you're powerless.
Right?
You're
like,
powerless over.
I need it.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's the substance of everything that I do and have to function on. But like this life that I have right now today, I had this moment. So I got rescued in again. Like, we're talking like 2009, got out of the pen, did about 4 years of decent in my life, got a degree in psychology, addictions and mental health work, psychology, counseling diplomas, all that type of shit. And then my brother dies in a motorcycle accident. And then I'm in this chaos of life across the country, doing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just going to fast forward through everything. I end up in Kelowna, trying to, again, be somebody, end up almost getting murdered a couple times. And then I get arrested. And again, and sent to remand. And 5.5 months later, I got a chance at bail to a treatment center. For the first time in my entire life, a judge says, well, why hasn't this man ever been to treatment? You've been in ACT for almost 20 years. And like, here's a concept, right? And so I got a shot at treatment, and I didn't do very well my first couple months. I was still fucking playing the role. The very first day of rolling into treatment, my buddy was there with a half an ounce of meth in the treatment center. He's like, "Bro, come on down here, let's do a bump." Like, thanks, bro. Like, I think how stupid that is now. Like, and he, even to this day, he calls me every once in a while. He's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry." Like, that was not really friendly of me, right? Like, but hey, it's all part of who I am now, right? Like, there's no way for me to be this man today had any of that not happened. But I was at the place called the Creek in Chilliwack, and I saw a Crime Stoppers profile for me, and I got called to the office, and my sister had called, said that she'd seen me on Crime Stoppers, and there was a warrant out for my arrest while I was in the treatment center, and so I was like freaking out, right? Because I was already out on bail. And they're already asking, like, this was my 4th federal trafficking charge. And they asked 7 and 8 years on the last one. I ended up with 18 months. And this one, they were asking 10. And so now I had a warrant out for my arrest for a violent home invasion, which I didn't do. I was trying to rescue some chick who was being held hostage. And, but yeah, so I had to turn myself in. I wanted to run. I wanted to run so bad. And my sister begged me. She was like, just don't do anything stupid. And like, she goes, did you do it? And I'm like, no, I didn't do it. Like, she's like, don't lie to me. I said, honestly, this one time, I'm telling you the truth. It's not what you think it is. Not at all. Like, these guys attacked me. The only reason why they have any kind of evidence was because they attacked me. But anyways, and she's like, well, then what can you do? And I said, well, I think I should turn myself in and see what happens. So I made arrangements through the treatment center to turn myself in. And I got shipped back up to the lake. I was at a treatment center up in Kamloops, and and I was just like sick. This was Friday. Sent me up Saturday. Saturday didn't eat. Saturday night I didn't sleep. Sunday didn't eat. Sunday night I didn't sleep. Monday morning the cops came to pick me up, and it was, God was there. God was there the whole way through. There was 3 of them in 3 of the senior staff of the treatment center, and they stopped me, called me up to the office, stopped me in the office, pulled me in the office and sat me down. And they said, what do you want to do for your life? Like, really? Is this what you want? And I was broken, scared. And I was like, no. I'm like, do you want help? Like, do you really want this? And they asked me a couple questions because there was some unanswered questions about some of my behavior. And they were like, we're going to ask you some questions. And they said to me what I now tell people. If you're honest, this will go a long way for you. And we can work with honesty. And we can work with willingness. And so they asked me a bunch of questions, and I was honest. Probably for the first time in a long time. Because I think I wanted to unburden myself. I just wanted to just let go of it all. Right? I mean, like, to be honest with you, at that point, it was just like, I'm going to jail, so, I may as well be honest. I've really got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, okay. They're like, do you want to come back? And I was like, I don't know, do you want me back? Will you let me come back? I'm like, I guess we'll see. But if you come back, things are going to change. And cop came in, took me out, gave me the respect of not handcuffing me in front of everybody, walked me out to the car, handcuffed me in front. He said, I'm going to give you, put your handcuffs, you're not going to be a problem, are you? I'm like, no, man. And he put me in the back seat, and when he shut the door, it was like I was transformed to like another world. It's like this echo. I still remember it. It's like, and I was just like, and I didn't know if I was like exhaustedly hallucinating because I hadn't slept in 2 days, coming down off of dillies too, because I was snorting dillies and a bunch of other medications stolen from people who were cheeking their meds. Like, just stupid stuff, right? Still broken, still numbing, still trying to escape, And vaguely remember this cop trying to talk to me, but it was like echoes. And I was just like, yeah, like, I don't know. He's trying to talk to me. He's like trying to be all friendly and shit like that. And I was just like, I started praying. And I didn't have anything left at that point. And I just started praying. And the way I explain it is that God came and sat beside me in that police car. And he put his arm around me. And it wasn't a friendly hug. It was that hug that you give somebody when they've been completely taking you for granted and taking advantage of you. And you give them this hug that's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you so ungrateful?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the fucking life I've given you. Look at the gifts that I've given you. And like, bro, I have been beaten. I have been shot. I have been stabbed. I got stabbed 17 times. I got beat over the head with a baseball bat to the point where my head was broken open and the necklace that I was wearing was buried 3 inches into the back of my head. I had a pickaxe buried into the top of my head. I got stabbed right in the heart with a 3-inch spike. I shouldn't be here. Shouldn't be here, let alone walking, talking, and cognitively functioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do all of that. I have some scars on my face. You know, I have some things that hurt every once in a while. But, like, I shouldn't be here. And God was showing me that. When I was 7, I cut my ankle open so bad that I lost so much blood that I was unconscious for 45 minutes and flatlined because they couldn't get enough blood back into me. I stepped on a beer bottle. My babysitter was going to give me licorice.
So why are you here? Why do you think you're still here? I see you on Instagram. I know that you Diamond Life
Academy,
right? Diamond Life Academy. It has to do with sports and helping young people out with like purpose, stuff like that, right?
Diamond Life Athletics is the sports. Diamond Life Academy is the
Okay.
the platform for transformational health.
Transformational health.
Yeah.
So why do you believe you've been kind of saved or resurrected or not wasted?
I had to heal first in order to understand my gift. And God had a purpose for me. And I knew it. And I knew it, and I made a deal.
You made a deal.
I did make a deal. I said to him, if you give me this chance, because I know that I'm worth it, and I know that I can do great things, if you give me this chance, then I'll never turn my back on you again. And I'll prove that I can do this. And I asked him to burn a bush, which was metaphorically open the gates again. And got out again. Week after I turned myself in.
So the deal was made in the sin bin.
Yeah.
And you haven't dishonored that deal.
Not for 8 years.
So you've been healing and honoring the deal.
Yeah.
And I know a few people that know you that I don't know that well, but they have let me know that you're a fairly reputable person within the recovery community out there, and that you do good things. And like, I'm still getting to know you, right?
Yeah.
So I also made a deal. I made a deal in like my 3rd year recovery. Like I'm a 12-stepper, and I'm gonna talk about the big book a bit. And in the big book, there's in step 7, 12 and 12. It says, with a proper display of honesty and morality, we stand a better chance of getting what we really wanted. And so I started being honest and moral, and at any cost. And sometimes the cost was I didn't get what the fuck I wanted. But, and like, you know, Jordan Peterson, he talks about that honesty stuff, right? Like, be honest at any cost. And later down on that page, it says, you know, it talks about the true purpose of our lives, true love of man and God. And this blindness to the true purpose of our lives produced bad results. And it talks about, like, you know, we can have these earnest religious beliefs which remain barren because we still try to play God ourselves, or if we place self-reliance first, the genuine reliance upon creators out of the question. And so I took in all these things. It was about 2 or 3 years in sobriety, bro, and I was like, fuck, I want God to be everything, and I really want to make these commitments, and I really want to try to, like, serve him somehow. And I, you know, at that point in my recovery, I was serious. But little did I know how serious it would actually be years down the road when I was making those commitments again and again and again. And then again when I was fasting in my first Sundance, and then again when I did my first Sundance. And just these commitments to God get deeper and deeper. And I think the commitments get deeper because the rooting out of old shit has to happen. So the commitment gets deeper. And to me, I built this business on that commitment, right? I really have built this business on that commitment. And Brenda's here somewhere. And like, she'll tell you that the commitment that I have to try to like honor that deal And it is a deal, and it's a deal that I believe that I can't ever go back on. If I go back on that, and I don't want to be God-fearing, but I know there's consequences. And at the end of the day, bro, I get the dope out of fucking God in doing this deal anyway. And no matter really what happens, and I'm dead serious, no matter what happens, maybe I got to lose everything I have again, but the deal's never getting changed. And if I end up homeless again or not having anything or broke or alone, the deal's still the deal. And I know that part. There's things that I kind of try to do that I'm like, maybe this will crooked my deal because the ego will like it too much. But so far that hasn't happened. So I get more convinced that the deal's the deal and it's not going to change. So what's your deal? What's it look like now? And where are you in the deal?
Oh, man. As you're speaking, man, I'm having this crazy, crazy moment. I just realized that, like, God is challenging me.
Fucking right.
Just as you said that, the deal is a fucking deal. Let's see how fucking serious you are.
Dude.
Because I've been going through it, man.
You're speaking it right there.
And that's what it is. I fucking love you. Like, wow. God is testing me to see how loyal I am to my my integrity of that deal.
Fucking right.
Because he's taking me places he needs to know I'm prepared for.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I'm getting shivers because you're saying it, and I know it's fucking true.
Because I've been like, why?
And it's to see, like, what are you willing to... And it's not saying give up it either. But if you're willing to give it up, that's all that matters, whatever it is. And it's something you're squeezing or that I've squeezed, that I finally said, fuck it, whatever. I don't care. And then I let it go, and then I actually get it. But it's different because I let it go, and the subconscious, like, rearrangement from that letting it go is different. And then the other thing is social judgment. There's such a fear of us in ourselves of social judgment and embarrassment. That has been a thing that I've worked on through these commitments and not doing whatever it is that my ego wanted to do, and honoring the commitment regardless of what anyone says. And still today, like, there is a target on my back as the guy that does what I do. But I don't look at it as a target. But in the world we live in this material world and full of judgment and things, like, my team tries to warn me and say, well, you still got to look like this because the perception. And I get that, but in some ways, bro, I fucking hate that. So I'm trying to find out how to play that game without playing that game. And I don't want to play that game. But in the same breath, there's part of me that hasn't figured it all out yet there. You know what I'm saying?
I've been heavily criticized over the last 6 months of my outspokenness on social media over political and things that are going on in the world, and directly correlated to the fact that that's a detriment to the image. And it's like, I have this hard time, man. I spent most of my life shutting up, and the world problem, my view is that this world is exactly why it is, because not enough people speak out and speak the truth.
So step 10 has a tradition, right? And it says, AA has no opinion on outside issues. Hence the AA name not be drawn into public controversy. So getting to the point for me where I've had no opinion on outside issues. And for me in politics is a no-go zone. I do not speak on politics because it's such a low vibrational thing, and it's a fear-based entity, and it allows me the false perception that I have an opinion on these outside issues that make a difference. To me, when I look at Tradition 4, each group is autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. Take that into my own life. I have the ability for autonomy, but I have no right to affect other groups or AA as a whole. But it's not that. It's like I have no right to affect other people or the world as a whole in my fear-based autonomy. But I got to identify that the fear is actually driving whatever the fuck it is that I'm saying or doing. Love-based autonomy, yes. But through discernment, it doesn't come out like that. It's not friction. So it really boils down to, for me, Tradition 10. Having no opinion on outside issues outside of my own autonomy. The only time I have those issues is when, like, the vaccine comes along. That affects my autonomy directly, where you're telling me what to do with my own being. Right? But the outspokenness, I think, is a positive if it's totally based in love for yourself and it's not fucking judging others, even though it seems right and okay. I have my own thoughts on that.
Was it you at the BC Recovery Day we were talking about discernment? Were you talking with me about it? Because, dude, I've been hearing that nonstop. Like it's been a topic in some of the stuff that I've been listening to. Praying only for discernment.
Yeah, dude.
The strength and the courage to make decisions, and like the beauty of the serenity prayer that I always tell people is in the wisdom.
Yeah, dude.
To know the difference.
Yeah.
That's the power of that prayer. It's not the other stuff. It's the wisdom, because that's where we get tricked. To know what we're in control of and what we're not.
Yeah, dude.
And that's where I'm at right now. I'm in this loop. It's that even though I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Because I fucking always know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the wisdom's no difference, and just the power to carry that out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really love what you just said, though.
And the power. Like, for me, the power is the power. The power is God, right? The power is love. God to me is love. So I gotta ask God to borrow the power. I never ask God to give me the power. I ask if I can borrow the power. And then the discernment comes through that. Left to my own discernment, sometimes there's a fine line between fear and intuition, right? But through the sharpening of my discernment by asking for God's guidance in these decisions, then I usually don't really make too many mistakes in it. But I can, and that's why I need other people to talk to, because sometimes I can still blind myself with my own self.
I do. The Buddha, in reading the 7 virtues of the Buddha, the treatise, one of the most powerful things that I read in there was true justice.
Yeah.
True justice is not being, because I'm going to paraphrase here, but true justice is not being or acting because of the fear of a consequence, but being and acting because that's who you are. And that's a lot of what I try to do today is I don't act because I'm afraid of getting in trouble, or I'm afraid of a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
This is who the fuck I am. And the gifts that I've been given is the freedom to be who I've always been meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a beautiful thing, because I now have the gift of my life that I use, because I no longer look at my life as the things that happened to me, right? Like this happened for me. This experience, up until the point where God finally came to me and had enough of my shit, it's all useful for me to make now to decide. And I went through this process of character building. I'm gonna forget his name, but there's a podcaster that Tom Bilyeu.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Bilyeu did this masterclass with a few others, Dean Graziosi and a bunch of others, and I joined on this, and it was a character building class. It was building your identity. Who do you want to be? I'm going to pull my Superman pendant out here, because who I could correlate the most to, who I had an affinity to be like, when I was looking at all of the experiences that I've had, good and bad, and all the moments where I was in places, even in my darkness, but still being a hero to somebody, right? I aligned the most with the characteristics and the qualities of what Superman stood for. And so in the first few years of building that, and it's like in relation to step 6 and 7, right? I was entirely ready to have God remove my defects of character, because I had seen that through 4 and 5, that though they were useful for me, because they were.
To protect yourself.
Absolutely. Where I was and what I was doing, all those character defects were an absolute necessity for me to survive at that moment. But in order for me to transcend that and step away into a new level of life in character and being, I had to be ready to have God remove them, right? But how do you do that? You humbly ask him to remove these shortcomings. He's not going to just fucking take them away from you. You got to be ready. It's like that. Did you ever see the God on Trial? It's really great. They really awesome, because they put the question to this pastor who's, being the advocate for God, and he's like, when I want courage, he doesn't give me courage. He gives me opportunities to be courageous, right? When I ask for patience, he doesn't give me patience. He gives me opportunities and scenarios in life to be patient. When I'm asking for God to remove the defects of my character, dishonesty, deceptions, manipulation, well, he's going to give me opportunities to behave differently. He's going to give me opportunities to create and carve and mold a new character basis.
So he's going to give you the challenge.
It's going to give me the challenge.
Right? And so you work through a lot of those challenges in your life, and now you get to this point now, the challenges are different. And they're more cunning. Yeah. There's a line in the We Agnostics where it says, "What is this but a miracle of healing?" So we're healing. It's a miracle of healing. Circumstances made him willing to believe. It's the circumstances in your life, if you're willing to believe and bring God in, that's where the miracle of healing happens. And it says, he knew, and he offered himself to his maker. What did he know? He knew God had him in every fucking angle. And he offered himself to his maker, full surrender. He comes to those who honestly sought him. When we drew near to him, which is removal of the things that block him from us, he discloses himself to us. And as we get down the journey with years in, these challenges become more subtle. And there's more world of the material bullshit and beliefs and ideologies behind it that block that next spot, that next agreement level to see.
Well, he's got to.
He's got to.
Because he's tried everything else. He's throwing everything at me in the kitchen sink. Like, I remember walking on the street one day and we're walking by 7-Eleven, and this idea comes to go grab one of those non-alcoholic Budweisers. And I remember it so well, and I literally laughed out loud. I'm like, really? Is that all you got? Is that the best you could do today? You want to try to get me to go get a non-alcoholic Budweiser? And I identified. I see you, bro. Like, go fuck yourself. I see what you're trying to do. And I see him everywhere. Like, referencing the enemy, right? Motherfucking devil. He's everywhere, and you just beautifully characterize it. He's getting so crafty and so cunning in his ways of trying to poke me, man, and trying to like trip me up and cause like trouble. And normally it's weird. No, it's not weird. This is obviously, you said at the very beginning, like this is all orchestrated, divinely orchestrated. I'm having some wicked epiphanies, man, and revelations and things. I'm seeing it now. I don't know why I didn't see it. Why I attribute all of this stuff to what he's been doing to try and trip me up. Because I'm getting closer.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
And this is my belief. God gives big jobs and all different jobs.
100%.
And not big jobs are more important than little jobs. There's no real distinction in like the importance.
Yeah.
But some people are meant to do different things, right? And you know, whatever it is you're meant to do. And like there's levels of this consciousness shit that we're talking about that you have to break through to like do these jobs. And not everyone's going to do them. And it's all based on your deal. What level? What things in the world of the material are going to distract you from that? Right? Hopefully nothing. And even if it does, God's okay with it. But he's given you the opportunity, or me, or whoever is on this journey to like serve, to fucking do it. And page 130, big book, he asks us to keep our head in the clouds with him. And our feet ought to be firmly planted on earth. That is where our fellow travelers are. That is where work must be done. There's nothing incompatible between a life of sane and helpful usefulness and a vital spiritual experience. So we got to live the human parts of our lives and use these experiences and still go through the shit sometimes, which isn't really shit when you make that commitment. It's just part of it. But to help people, right? That's where the God dope is, man. You fucking know.
That's where it is. It's always been there. And I was saying to a friend earlier about, it seems like it's getting fewer and fewer. It seems like the enemy is winning, and I hate saying that, and I don't want to give him power or praise or anything like that, but it just seems to be such a real issue right now. Is the amount of success out there is so disproportionate to the amount of suffering, and that God dope, that line of filling my cup.
But bro, look what you had to go through. Look what you had to go through as an entity to get out of it and work your way through it.
Right.
Who's to say that this entity of mankind doesn't have to go through the same thing? And whatever the pain and bullshit that you went through that seemed bad, and you look at like, fuck, it had to be that way to come out the other side. Who's to say mankind's journey isn't the same, and all this shit that seems bad isn't fucking bad? You don't know the lifespan of mankind. Maybe we're in that spot where most people have that awakening, but first they got to be crushed by their own self-imposed crisis, which is usually between 30 and 50. Right. Maybe mankind's between 30 and 50 in the life of whatever the fuck it is.
Seems that way.
And is it really bad? Was it bad that I lost everything and fucking got broken so much that I wanted to blow my brains out, but now I'm fucking happier than I've ever been and it had to go that way? Was it bad that you had to go through all the shit that you went through and help save somebody's life and then so I could meet her? And is that bad? It fucking looks like the best fucking thing in my life to me, man.
Right.
What's good? What's bad?
Or you put it that way.
What's really good and what's really bad?
Well, it's not, and it's not for us to say, right?
Right.
It's the interpretation.
Exactly,
of it.
bro.
The eye of the beholder. It's only that way because we're here. It wasn't like that when we were in it and when they're in it.
And the ego's all that suffers, bro.
True.
The ego is the only one that suffers.
Fucking rights. And that's where I'm at. Straight up.
Okay, we got to wrap this shit up, but like you're coming on again. We're going to keep this shit going.
Fuck yeah.
So is there any message that you want to give to anyone out there before we shut off the cameras? Or gratitude or whatever?
Oh, man. You know, Yeah, man, like, I can tell you one thing, like, if you don't have a relationship with God right now, I would strongly suggest that you find one. He is the savior, the highway, and everything out, and all the in between, and all the things that you have ever been seeking in your entire life. But I will say this: if mindset and work is all you need to do, put your feet on the ground every single day and say thank you for what you've been given and what you've got and the opportunities that lie in front of you, because God knows there are tens of thousands of people, and I love telling people this. Before you wake up, BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, before you even wake up at 7 a.m., tens of thousands of people didn't wake up. And they all went to bed thinking they were going to get up today and conquer the world, say hi to their kids, go to their job, love their wife, kiss their kids, whatever. And they didn't, and they don't. And so many more are going to go to bed tonight and not wake up tomorrow. And what I'm being grateful for on a daily basis is breathing, walking, talking, and functioning. And if I can say anything at all to anyone out there, especially if you're in addiction, reach out, ask for help, get a sponsor, hit a meeting, and do the work. The only reason why I have what I have, aside from my relationship with God and Him giving me the chances, is the amount of work that I've done and continue to do. And that's the only thing, is like going to the gym. I go to the gym every day, 4 or 5 days a week, and I stay strong, I stay healthy. I'm a fucking warrior. And I have that mindset and mentality. And I think it's a fight every day. I got a lot to say.
You are a warrior.
I do. I'm a machine, man.
Fucking right.
You know, and it's not impossible. If I can, and you probably heard this, probably lots of people said it, you know, if I can do this, you can do this, anybody can do this. It's not hard. It's tough. It's a lot of fucking shit you got to dig through. But being a good person isn't hard at all.
Because it's in us. It is us.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just getting back to aligning what our true authentic self is. And when you do that, fuck, man, the world, the doors of opportunity open to you. And you just got to keep walking, man. One foot in front of the other. If you got breath in your lungs, you got opportunity.
Okay, bro. Fucking appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on and squeezing me into your hectic fucking run to Northern Alberta and coming back and swinging through today. Really appreciate you, and I really do look forward to having you on some more, bro. And
Hell yeah.
let's keep talking. So anyway, everyone, thanks for listening and watching and supporting. Just keep watching, keep listening, keep supporting. We'll keep doing the deal. Thank you. Hi.